Wow, we are in 2024. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? So allow me to say compliments of the new year. May 2024 be a beautiful year for you. And thank you again for tuning in and saying, let's do it again in 2024 like we did in 2023. I trust you had a wonderful Christmas season. I trust you enjoyed the holidays and you are finishing off the last few days before going back to work. If you're back at work, oh well, it is life, life continues. So we continue to push, we continue to show up because that's what we do. When the sun rises, we show up so that we can make sure that the purpose that we were created for, we're able to fulfill. It is Intimate Conversations with Isa Favored, and I am your woman, your girl, that we just get to have conversations and we talk. And we are in 2024. And I thought, how do we start the year? And I thought, let me start the year with a conversation that talks about one of the basic human needs. It is a basic human needs, and I'm going to read something from Google, and then you'll get to understand what I'm talking about. So it says, touch often plays a crucial role in maintaining connection within interpersonal relationships. Touch is essential because of the ways it communicates emotions to others and because it stimulates production of oxytocin, sometimes known as the love hormone. So we are talking touch, the power of touch, the power of just being held by somebody. And one day I was listening to the radio and I had an interview with the lady that I have, Florence, from Cuddling SA. Yes, Cuddling SA. She's going to tell us more about it, but it is a company that offers cuddling services. Yes. I don't know what you're thinking. You're thinking, yes, it offers cuddling services because, as I said, touch is one of the most basic emotions that we need as humans. And sometimes people find themselves in need of touch, but let me not spoil it. Florence, you are welcome, and thank you, and happy 2024 to you.
Happy New Year, Isabel. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you. And let's talk pro-cuddling. Let's profile the company, then we'll get into it. So tell us about Cuddling SA.
So it's basically a company that provides professional cuddling services. Okay. So even though people know what cuddling is, they'll always be like, no, but what do you mean? Because you'll associate cuddling with your romantic partner. You understand?
Yes.
It's not something that is common, especially here in Africa, let alone South Africa. In Africa, it's not common to have such services available, but that is what we do. So we have people that we've trained. We call them cuddle mates, and they provide the professional cuddling services to the clients.
So I'm sitting, I am in need of just a cuddle, without anything, just a cuddle. I can set up an appointment, and you call them what? Cuddlers?
Cuddle mates.
So cuddle mates will show up and give me the so much needed cuddle at the time.
Yes, that is correct. So it's a call-out service, so they would have to come to where you are. And another thing is, your home. Well, even if you're not at home, but if you are visiting the country and you're at a hotel, that is where you are most comfortable. Okay. As opposed to you going to a new venue and having to taking time to get into the session. So we've tailored it in a way that they always come to you wherever you are. And yes, it's just cuddling. Even we say it on the website, nothing more than that.
Nothing more than that. It's cut, and we'll get to that because earlier on, when you're introducing, you were saying it's not the romantic kind that will then lead to other things. But we'll talk about that. Before we get to that, I want you to share what brought the concept to you. What made you think, who? Because as you say, it's very rare. It's sort of unheard of, uncommon in Africa, in South Africa. So what makes you, a woman in South Africa, to come up with such a concept and say, I'm gonna make it a business and make it a, like, what, like, what made you come up with that?
Yes. So it's from personal experience. I was going through a tough time, and it was an evening where I had dinner plans with my partner, and we just cuddled and I felt so much better. But in my mind, I thought to myself, what about the people that don't have partners in their lives? How do they get such comfort? What
Mm-hmm.
what is what is the solution for them? What happens when you
Yes.
don't have anyone? And another thing is, what happens when you are in a relationship with someone, but you guys don't touch anymore? What about those people? So then
Yes,
I did
yes.
my research. So the concept is very common in Asian countries, in
Mm-hmm.
European countries, in American countries, because it's something that has been around, I think, for like about a decade or so,
Okay,
believe it or
okay.
not. But I just said to myself, you know what? After I did my research, I said I am going to do it here in South Africa. I don't see why not. Although I've heard so many stories about why I shouldn't do it.
Shouldn't
But I
do
just said
it,
to myself,
yes.
yeah, but I just said to myself, I don't see why I shouldn't do it. So then
Mm.
after compiling my research, I started the business, hired cuddle mates, and we were ready to go.
Okay. So I want two aspects that I want us to talk about. The one is, did you share the concept with some people? Because you say there were those that were you have been given reasons why you shouldn't do it. When you shared, what were the most bizarre or awkward responses that you got from people, and maybe those closest to you? What were they surprised? Were they? How was it?
Yeah, a lot of people were like, no, I don't see how something like that will work in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And some people were like, no, but that is something that people do with their partners. How are you going to do it with a stranger? I'm like, because unless and until you are in that position where
Mm.
you need
Yes.
somebody to hold you, to listen to you, and all of that, you will never fully understand. You can never put
Then.
yourself in their shoes because there's lots of people who are desperate for such.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, it wasn't my purpose to try and convince the people around me. If you don't have the vision, you don't.
It's
You know
not yours. If it's not yours, you will not understand it, hey?
exactly. But I went ahead and did it. Regardless of what anyone says. Of course, people are like, what cuddling? I. you know, People would
Uh-huh.
brush it off in a sense that how people brush off businesses that they have never thought
Thought
about,
about. Yes.
or
Yes.
or cannot fully comprehend like what it's about. They just brush it off, and I'm like, I'm okay with the all brushing off, but what matters to me is what the people of South Africa, the majority,
Mm.
what they think about it. Once I've got a feel, then I'll be like, okay, we're gonna go with it and what we're gonna do about it and all of that. But the response was amazing, to be honest with you.
We'll get to the response. Hold that. We'll get to the response. I want to talk about the response of, I don't know, your recruitment process of the cuddle mates. How did you find, were the cuddle mates responsive, or you also find that people were like, oh, what is she talking about?
The kind of I put out an ad
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it was on Gumtree, or one of
Okay.
these one of these job portals. And
Yes.
yeah, that was overwhelming. It was overwhelming the
Okay.
number of people that applied. And I was like, oh my God, so much. And I'm just getting started. But it was so overwhelming, even though some of them were like, oh my God, like, what is this? But a lot of them were like, we want to join, we want to do this. And all of them, it was for different reasons. Some of them will tell you, like, I've just been divorced and I'm so lonely, and I also
Oh.
want to help somebody,
Oh,
you know
wow.
someone was like, yeah, I haven't been in a relationship for the longest time, and sometimes you want adult company and you
Yes,
want
yes.
to cuddle and all of that, but you want it to end then. People are like, you know what, yeah, I just want somebody to listen to me in an intimate space, somebody that I don't have to go find in a club, you know
Mm, mm,
because
mm.
can't trust people out there. So a lot of people are like, yeah, we want to do this, so that is where it all started.
Did you find, though, that in that there were also others who responded because they thought it's something with happy ending, or what? As you sift through and you talk to these people, did you find that others had different ideas?
No, definitely not. Like, everyone was very much aligned in terms of understanding that
Okay.
it's simply cuddling, it's you comforting a stranger, which would be the client at that time, talking to them and all of that, but you are forming a connection for that time, and it ends there. A lot of people came knowing that, yeah, I'm happy that there's something like this, because they don't want that thing of something that goes into prostitution, basically, because
Yes,
that's what a
yes.
happy ending is.
Is,
Because
yes.
they were all like, yeah, they were all like, you, yeah, we don't want any part of that, but we are inclined to cuddling because it's you forming a connection with a stranger, and it ends there. That's it.
And
And
I,
what I find that's actually amazing to hear, maybe because also probably your ad was very specific and very clear, so people when they read it, the response then was. But number two, what you said that some of them were saying it's because I also need it, because the thing with their cuddle is that it's a two-way. You cannot a person cannot receive it without giving. So it's a give, and we both are benefiting out of that.
Yes, yes, 100%. I always said to them, as like, you must remember that you're not cuddling a robot. You know, you will also, as much as you are there as a cuddle mate working to provide the service to the client, but the client will also be cuddling you back, because he or
yes.
she is not a robot. So
Uh-huh.
that's 100% correct. Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
that's
that's great. Did you find that in that process of people? No, I wanted to say the age group of your cuddle mates age groups. Um, how vast is it?
So we have people as young as 18,
okay.
19, 20, all the way up to, like, mid 50s.
Okay.
Okay. And they all have clients.
Yes, because it's people from different age groups that book,
Okay.
so that's why. So what how I explain it is that the younger cuddle mates, the one that is 18 to like 25 and all that, they basically get booked by clients who are also young, who just want to chill with somebody.
Oh, I wanted to ask
Yeah,
that to say.
they want
Okay.
to chill and relax with somebody, you know no commitment, nothing. Like, I'm
Nothing.
gonna book this session, this person is gonna leave, and I don't have to force a relationship with them,
Yes,
you know?
yeah.
And then as you get into like 25 to mid 30s, let's say up till 40, you're dealing with people who are really touch deprived. They're lonely. They've been through a lot. They've had their own problems in relationships and all of these things, and they understand the need. Some of them have tell you that they've been diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and they understand that what being lonely can do how it can damage, yes, how it can damage your mental health. And they're like, yo, I understand this fully. I just gotten out of therapy, and my therapist would always tell me that I need to interact with people. I'm so lonely, and things like that. So it's people who understand the fundamentals on COVID. And obviously, when you go up to your 40s, 50s, and all that, you're dealing with a lot of divorcees. Some of them are widows, and all of those things. But they've lost people that they love. Some of them have never been married. They tell you that I don't have kids. I don't have anyone. Yeah. And yes, sometimes I just want somebody there with me that I can talk to, cuddle with, and it ends there. They're not looking for a commitment.
Wow. Okay. I wanna, as you talk about that, one of the things that I found on the internet, it says it has been found that touch calms our nervous center and slows down our heartbeat. Human touch also lowers blood pressure as well as cortisol, our stress hormone. So when you are feeling a bit stressed, when you're talking about people who have been diagnosed with depression, so they realize that life can be so, I need centering, I need a place where I can just have, without the responsibility of being in a normal relationship, because then it means I must also give something of me. And maybe right now I'm at a space where I don't have that to give.
Yes. 100%. Because is that I always emphasize, even with all the clients that book, is that the relationship with the client and the cuddle mate is non-committal. There's no following up or calling the next day or let's hook up again and all of that. And that's what people are looking for. They'll tell you that I do not want a relationship. I'm not looking for a commitment. I'm lonely now. I want to book somebody now.
How far in advance do your bookings go? So how, if somebody needs a mate, how far, or is it like, can it be in an hour? How does it work? How does your booking system work?
So ideally, because of availability and all of that, we ideally say 24 to 48 hours, but we do accept same day bookings, So I'd say like you 2 to 3 hours in advance if you're booking same day before like the evening, because you must understand, as much as the cuddle mates are employed by us, they have their own lives as well. So we have to arrange, so you have to arrange with them in time to be like, please don't make plans that evening or that afternoon. There's a client who booked, That's what also sometimes people don't understand, is like, as much as they are working for us, they have their own lives and they're not always available. So yes, hence we stress, like, try and do it in advance to avoid disappointment.
And then, do you have, for lack of a better word, do you have a catalog of your cuddle mates? How does a client get to decide who's going to be their cuddle mate?
So when you send your booking request through, it'll come through our business WhatsApp. And then you'll receive the catalog for your area. In the future, we will have that available on the website, so you don't even have to ask for the catalog. That will be coming in about a month or so. But for now, we do send you the catalog via WhatsApp.
So then, the client will specify, I need this age category. What specifications do you look for from them to know, or is it just an open-ended catalog? How does it work?
Yeah, so for us, we just interested in whether they're looking for a male or female cuddle mate. So we will send you all the female cuddle mates for that area. you choose, because you don't want to limit a client to say,
Okay.
they'll only have access to this. You give them all of the cuddle mates in that area, and they will then choose for themselves to say, oh, okay, I like, this person and all of that and all of those things. So we give the client all of the options and they choose.
Okay, awesome. And then take us through a typical, do you call them a date or do you call it, it's not a session. Yes, it's not a date, it's a session. So how does your typical session, okay, no, maybe before that, how long is, what is the minimum duration and what is the maximum that you've had?
So minimum is 90 minutes,
Okay.
which is 1.5 hours. And then maximum is 12 hours, right? But we've had people contacting us asking, can they book somebody for, like, if they want to spend the weekend with somebody?
Okay. Is it like a, is it like, and I'm saying weekend because I'm thinking of this other movie that I watched, somebody was going to and then the pressure that you still don't have a partner, so they want to come to a function sort of with a partner if it's like a weekend setup, something like that.
Yeah, maybe they're on leave or something, and they'll be, at a specific hotel for the weekend. Can somebody be available for that long, And I always say to the cuddle mates, we never ever force a cuddle mate to be like, no, this is what the client is requesting, and you'll go there. So yes, so it's up to them if they are comfortable with that.
Okay.
But
Okay.
on our website, it's up to 12 hours. Anything extra than that, you have to request the pricing,
Okay.
separate.
On the let's because you've just brought in this one of the week. So on the weekend, will it be that the cuddle mate at some point will go home and come back the next day, or because of course it is a it's non-committal. So when how does it work? And I know that those are very rare, but it does happen. So how will that work?
Yes, they would go.
Okay.
So yeah, they would go and then come back again.
Oh, so it's not like they will spend the night with the person at a particular time.
We do have sleepovers.
Hi, Florence. Florence.
because the client, I'm not being serious, because the clients will say, no, they want to book somebody for the evening. And I know, that's why I said to you, like, we always stress, guys, it has nothing to do with sleeping with the client. There are no
Yes.
sexual acts involved. And people are like, but how can you sleep with somebody and not? I'm like, it is possible. I'll give you an example. We had one client who's married, right? And he says that, you know what, being at home, he's talking about his home where he lives with his wife,
And family,
yes.
yes.
Yeah, and family. He says, like, my wife is so cold towards me. I wouldn't even know where to start if I want her to touch me. Do you understand?
Oh
So
my
when
goodness.
he would come, he would book and be like, I want to book 10 hours a sleepover,
Okay.
And this would be
Okay.
communicated with the cuddle mate. Oh, we'll never force them. It's like, okay, this client wants a 10-hour sleepover. Are you available? Yes or no? And then go.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yes, it had plenty. We've booked plenty of sleepovers, and we don't have any incidents where,
There has been no incidents, none whatsoever.
no, touch wood. No, we haven't.
Okay. Your clientele, do you screen your clients?
Yes, we have to.
Yeah.
We have to.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. In the times that we're living in, you cannot afford to. But that's actually sad when you think about it, when somebody will say, I am married, yet I don't know where to begin. That's quite sad.
Yeah, but can we agree? Can you and I agree that that is the reality today?
It is. No.
It's
It is the reality. It's just that when you think about it, it's a very sad state of affairs because it's not meant to be like that. But if you engage with a lot of people, you find that that is actually how life is these days.
It is, and they'll tell you that, oh my God, women will be posting on the internet to be like, you know what, I live in the same house as my husband. We sleep on the same bed, but I cannot remember when last we touched each other.
Yes.
Do you understand? It's a reality. There's nothing that we can ignore it and turn a blind eye. But just because I have not experienced that doesn't mean that I must ignore that it's a
That it
reality.
happens.
Yes. And then you came in, you're like, I'm gonna provide a service that will then take care of those issues so that you can have somebody just to talk to. Okay, we were on the issue of then taking us through a typical session, then how it goes, because then that's when I started by asking the hours, how many hours and all that. And then so typically then how does the session just, and you remember I said to you, how I wish you could, one of your videos that I saw, you actually had a practical example. How I wish you had another person that you can show us how it goes. When the cuddle mate gets there, how does it typically unfold?
So then they normally start off with a hug, just to get the awkwardness out of the way because it's two strangers in a room. And then after that, they just go over what a typical session entails. So it's not straight cuddling like for full 90 minutes or 2 hours and all that. You'll obviously be talking in between because, like I said earlier, you're not cuddling a robot. So at times, some client will be like, you know what, I don't really feel like talking much.
Okay.
You just lie down and cuddle, and at any given time, the client is allowed to just change, be like, okay, let's change positions and all of that. And we don't have set cuddling positions. Normally, when you tell people about cuddling, they always think of spooning. I'm like, guys, as long as you are touching, as long as
And honestly, because now that's the picture that is on my mind. That is the spooning is the picture that's on my mind. So it's good that you're bringing that up because I'm sure a whole lot of us are thinking it's like, okay.
So it's literally any part of your body that is touching the client, that is cuddling. Whether you're just holding hands, or you just have one of your legs over the client's legs, it's cuddling. So yeah, so you'll change positions as and when the client expresses that, okay, now we can change on it, because sometimes you'll get there and be like, oh yeah, you want to try so many positions, where the client is like, you know what, I just want to lie down on the bed. I don't want any aerobics on the bed where we're trying and we are stretching our legs, bending. I was like, no. You know what I mean?
That's not for me.
Yeah. So it all goes according to the client and their needs, and to what extent they want to be cuddled, etc. But that's basically it. So we constantly have to check in with the clients, like, are you okay? Do you want to change positions and all of those things? But that's as far it is. But I always say to people, just let the session flow. Don't have a robotic approach where you timing your positions
5 minutes
like
of this, 3 minutes.
yeah, you change it.
We're gonna talk for
Never,
5 minutes, and
you can't do that. I'm like,
you
never ever
can't.
do that. Yes, never ever do that. So it's literally you just allowing the session to just take its course. Obviously, you there's restrictions, certain things you can't do, and all of those things. I'll give you an example. The client cannot be touching my breasts and things like that.
If that happens, what does the cuddle mate do?
No, they just tell the client, no, that I'm not comfortable with that, and we're not doing it. in the session. So it's a non-sexual way of cuddling. It's
Okay.
non-sexual.
Now, it happens that I get there and I'm the cuddle mate, okay? And when the door opens, I'm like, oh my goodness.
It's your dream guy.
Tall, thinking. And I am taken in my mind. I'm thinking, oh, Lord, what is this? What happened? Remember, we're not dealing with robots. We're not dealing with robots. We all are human beings. So, what does the cuddle mate do when something like that happens?
So I always say to the cuddle mates is that they must remember and keep in mind that they are working, right?
Okay.
And
Yes.
it is absolutely normal
Mm-hmm.
to develop feelings for somebody.
Yes. Yes.
It's normal. It can happen, it can go both ways. But I always say to the cuddle mates is that in an instance where you feel that you cannot control yourself in a session, the session needs to end.
Okay.
It needs to end because we cannot put the client in a situation. Now the client is going to feel like we have arranged for him to be harassed, sexually
Oh,
harassed
yes.
in
Yes.
his home, his
Yes.
or her home. Do you understand?
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm like, we cannot have that. And just because, do you agree that just because you like somebody in that way doesn't mean that they will like you back?
It does not be, no. Definitely, it doesn't mean that. It can just be me. It's on me. They are not there at all.
Exactly. So the client will feel like now they are being harassed and we didn't tell them that this is going to happen.
Yes.
So I always say it's better to be safe and end the session. If you feel like even if after you've gotten, you went outside, you got some air, you drank water, you did this, and you still cannot control yourself, end the session. And I also say I can't stop people from falling in love, but do it outside of business hours. Don't do it while you are in a paid session. No.
Okay. And the opposite of that is also true where now it is the client, and either male or female, and with males it's more. Have you ever had feedback where the cuddle mates now tell you that in the process of the cuddling and then certain things that were supposed to stay sleeping started?
It's normal, Isabel. But the things that you're talking about are absolutely normal. Like with men, that to some extent that happens involuntarily.
They don't plan
They're not
it.
aware. Yes,
Yes.
they are not aware that it's happening. And I always say, don't never ever be immature about something that somebody cannot necessarily control. So two
Yes.
things. If the session continues normal, if the client is still cuddling in a non-sexual way, even though they have an erection, then you will still continue with the session.
Okay.
Right? But if the client now changes and starts touching you in a sexual way because they've had an erection, that's when you need to be like, no, sir or ma'am, we are not going to do this.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was like, you have to be firm. You can't just allow a client to just continue. And the client will then tell you if, they'll apologize, be like, oh, sorry. They'll either go out and get some air or drink water or whatever in order to continue session. But I'm happy that we've had clients who said to the cuddle mate, listen, I'm so sorry, but you need to go home right now because I cannot carry on with this session because right now I want more than cuddling and you cannot give it to me. So go home. You cannot stay here, where they end the session full time because those are the types of clients that you deal with. It gets communicated very clearly in the beginning that there's absolutely no sexual acts whatsoever. you know? And you must understand that we have their details. We know who the client is. We know where they live. Anything that happens, it's very easy for me to take it to the police. But
oh yes,
yeah,
yes,
but
yes.
we do training and we do screening to avoid such things.
Such
Where there's no
thing.
no miscommunication, no gray area, you know. We tell you up front, is there happy ending? No, sir. Under no circumstances. Can I pay extra? No.
Extra.
No.
So those ones,
Go.
they fall by themselves.
Yes. We're like, no, go look for it elsewhere. It's not that type of service, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I say to the cuddle mates, never ever think that the client is your friend. If you are uncomfortable, you need to end the session and go. It's that simple. Yes. Yeah, because I feel like you have to have control of that right in the beginning, you know?
Yes.
A lot of people that apply will say, yeah, I've been cuddling my whole life. It's easy. I can do this. I want to work for you. I'm like, unfortunately, it's not that easy.
It's not.
Because think about it. Think about, let's say you're getting 3 or 4 bookings in a week, right? That is plus minus 12 strangers that you are cuddling in a month.
Oh, yes.
Nobody sits down and think about what the emotional impact that is on you, on the cuddle mate. It's draining. Some people would come like, yeah, can I do up to 5 sessions in a day? I'm like, no. No, you can't. You'll give the first 2 clients, maybe the first 3 clients a good session.
Service, yes, yes, yes.
But the rest of the clients, you'll be drained, you'll be tired. You don't want anybody to touch you after all those sessions.
Your
Why
own
would I?
space, your space is
Exactly.
also, oh yes, yes.
Exactly. So I tell the people, like, you don't think about the emotional impact and the emotional capacity and maturity that you need to have to do this. You know, so that's why I'm not going to hire you just because you are available and you can cuddle. Everybody can cuddle.
Can do that.
But whether you can do it on a professional level, that
It's
is
a
another
different
topic.
story.
Yes, on its own.
I'm actually thinking just on what you're saying now, that because it's not just the touch, it's also you get to talk with the person, they get to share. So you must have the capacity to take people's issues and not make them your own, but understand that I'm at work. So that takes its toll on you.
Thank you. Exactly. Because people are offloading and they just want to talk and they're going through the most and things like that and all of these things. And you literally have to have a mature approach and never ever personalize anything and don't you understand, don't take things too hard and small things like that, but that is what we deal with. You train a person, you have to train them to not have that approach.
Have you had instances where you've had now to terminate a cuddle mate because you realize that it is too much for them?
Yes, yes, we have, because here's the thing, people are not honest. You see how you get people posting on social media how they lie when they interviewed about certain things,
Yes.
You'll find that a person has underlying issues due
yes.
to some trauma that they experienced
In life.
in life,
Yeah.
right? So what happens, you take that trauma and it's gonna come out during a session because you are in an intimate space with a client.
Yeah.
Yes, they are a stranger to you, but there are certain things that are gonna come out that you won't be able to hide in that moment. And the client will
Yes.
give feedback to say, what is going on here? I paid a session for 10 hours, but we only cuddled for 30 minutes because this person had issues. And I'm like, I am so sorry. I didn't know.
Yes.
Understand?
Oh.
So those are the
Mm.
things that we deal with. Now we have to be proactive to ask people, listen, have you suffered a traumatic event? Have you
Mm-hmm.
been sexually assaulted before? And all of these things.
Yes.
Because if you
Yes.
have, unfortunately, you cannot do
You
this.
cannot. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
No matter how
Yeah.
much you say you need a job, how much you are available, you just cannot on that level, unfortunately.
Mm.
Yeah. So those are the issues as a business you've got to take into consideration and make sure that you build that. I'm interested. Your office. How many people do you have in your team? Not the cattle mates. From the administration side of things.
So from administration, we have about 5 people,
Okay.
excluding me. Excluding
Okay.
me. Yeah, so they handle bookings. They do debriefing. So debriefing after you finish a session, if
Mm-hmm.
you want to offload and talk about something that happened in a session
As
that
as a cattle mate.
yes, that maybe made you feel some type of way, then you
Mm-hmm.
can discuss it with that person,
Okay.
because
Okay.
it's important for you to talk about it. Because another thing is that I've seen or noticed with some of the cuddle mates that being a cuddle mate is not necessarily something that they can discuss openly with other people.
Oh yes. What work do you do? What do you do for a living? I'm a cattle mate.
Do you see? Some of them don't want to discuss it. So how will they discuss or talk about the things that they go through in these sessions?
Mm.
Yeah, so we just have someone that they can talk to, basically.
Okay, okay. Well thought, well researched business concept. Because it seems like you've really, because as you say, I'm thinking because people don't understand, then the mates may feel that I may be seen as if I'm doing prostitution when it is actually not that. So they hide it. But I love the way you've done it. It just shows that you've done proper research, Florence, because on any given day after work, you want to share with somebody how your day went, more especially if there was something significant. So it could happen that the cuddle mate, something happened and they really want to talk to somebody about it. So the fact that you've got somebody within your team where they can debrief, that's great. That's an awesome concept and part of your business structure, which I really, really commend. Okay. Now tell me, where do you have offices?
So we don't have like a physical location where somebody can come through
Come
because we
and
don't have
knock. Yes.
walk-in clients. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or your operation? Let me ask it and say, where do you have footprint? In which provinces or in which areas do you operate?
So it is in Gauteng,
Okay.
KZN, it would be Durban and surrounding areas, and
Okay.
the Western Cape is Cape Town and surrounding areas.
Only you're not in Pumalanga.
We're gonna come there.
We must
We'll
bring you
come
to
there in
we
a
must bring you
so
to
so
Pumalanga.
the aim is by June
Mm-hmm.
to have cuddle mates in the remainder of the provinces, you
Okay.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it is a process, but
Yes.
we we, like, let's say in Jan, we actually have started, interviewing and all of that. So
Okay.
it'll roll out slowly, but it will get there.
It will get there because I think more than anything, the service that you are offering, it is a basic human need, and people are starved of it. So it's something. It's a pity that now people have to pay for such a basic need to be taken care of. But good for you, kudos to you, because then you having a business out of that, and you are touching lives. Out of curiosity, I'm very curious. Any wedding bells for some cuddle mates with a client that have met and they've lived happily ever after, or they are in a very beautiful relationship or anything like that? Do you have feedback like that?
To be honest with you, I don't think they'll tell me, hey, these cuddle mates, like it's something that I will find out, you know. I doubt that they'll tell me, like, listen, Florence, I've fallen in love. So no, so far. So more often than not, they'll book different cuddle mates. But
Okay.
now and then you do get that client that will book the same cuddle mate. Although we don't recommend it, we tell the client, like, listen, the frequency is too high with this particular cuddle mate. Yeah. So either they need to, like, take a break from booking, or if they want to continue booking, they have to book with somebody else.
With somebody else. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because like I say, there's nothing wrong with falling in love, but
Yes.
don't do it during working hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do it privately. Yeah. I have no control over that.
You can't control. The heart wants what it wants, so that you can't control. Thank you so much for coming through. Thank you for sharing. And, because this is, you've said it in the beginning, it's not common in SA. You've started something that is, when I first heard, I was like, what is this? And it's so interesting. So thank you for agreeing to come and being a guest on the show. Wishing you all of the best. Let the dreams and the plans that you have for 2024, let them all come to pass. Let's see you in Mpumalanga, and let's see you, touching all the provinces, so that we're hearing that there's cattle mates all over SA. People don't now find themselves starved and wishing for just somebody to talk to, and they are frustrated because they do not have somebody that they can talk to. Thank you so much. Anything you want to say to our viewers?
No, it was good being here. Thank you for inviting me. I just hope you reach 1 million subscribers.
Thank you.
And yeah, all the best. All the best.
Thank you so much. Wishing you the best in 2024. And yes, thank you, viewers. You've heard it. The issue of touch is one of the most important needs that every human being has. Touch your children, just a touch, touch your parents, touch your partner. Do not have a partner that you're living with in the house, yet you are making them starve of your touch. Even if maybe the love is no longer there, just hold their hand, just for them not to be so starved of this basic need. But it goes beyond just touch. It's also how we talk, because human beings were created for relationships, to interact, to engage with people. So let's just make sure that as we begin 2024, we just are kind to each other. We are kind to each other, so that people find that wherever they find themselves, they are in a space that is kind to them, that is good to them. Let's have a beautiful 2024, and let all the dreams that we all have, may they come to pass. And cheers to 2024. See you next time. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, make sure that you subscribe. Tell somebody else to subscribe, and let's just do what we've been doing and keep growing together. Thank you. Stay blessed.